welcome to She's Got It, your favorite podcast that inspires by highlighting extraordinary women who transformed their life in remarkable ways. I'm your host, Isabelle, and today I am talking with Nadia Todres. Nadia is an American photographer highlighting hope and progress in crisis environments around the world. And she's been living and working in Haiti since the earthquake of 2010. Welcome, Nadia.
Oh, thank you so much, Isabel. Thank you for having me.
I am so grateful to having you here today. Nadia and I actually met in challenging times in Haiti almost 10 years ago, while both working actually in different ways on how to support personal and leadership development in Haiti's multifaceted society. But I don't want to dive too much into my life or into Haiti today. It's more about Nadia's work. So Nadia, you're a photographer and you used to work already abroad for assignments. But let me know, or let us know, when and why did you decide to work and live in Haiti?
Okay. Thanks, Isabel. So we're going to be going back quite some time now here. But I came, my early beginnings, I came out of university in Vermont. I went to Bennington College and I spent 20 years living in New York City and for many years working with a lot of talented photographers and in my very early days, and then doing assignment work in New York, and then eventually moving back to Vermont after many, many years in New York, and taking a little time out of the photographic world. And I made a decision to come to Haiti when I saw the story of the earthquake break in January of 2010. It's a bit of a personal story. So I had lost my father after a 3-year battle with lymphoma. And I think until that time in my life, I had lived a life without having experienced grief and death. And I was having a difficult way navigating that road. And there was something about the news of the earthquake and the amount of lives lost that was being reported. I remember just vividly watching CNN as the story broke on January 12th, 5:30 in the afternoon. And I stayed watching till about 1 o'clock in the morning, I remember. And something happened inside of me personally. I have to say that I haven't quite figured it out, but it enabled me to sort of like let go of my own personal pain and my grief for one person that had lived a very good long life. And suddenly I felt this desire to go to Haiti and sort of to offer my services, to be of service. And so, and I thought, even if I didn't find an outlet, an organization that would actually hire me, I would go myself. And I just wanted to go down. And I came down here in April of 2010, and I stayed. My first visit was about 6 weeks, and I went back to New York afterwards, and I connected with some women in New York that had just begun a program with adolescent girls and helping adolescent girls in Haiti. And that is how I moved into my journey in Haiti, because I subsequently came back here in July, a few months later, with that organization. And then I began to photograph for various different NGOs. And I was all the time very focused on girls, on adolescent girls, because I met a young girl, Mazali, who was 15 years old at the time, with a baby, living in Silo in this community. And I had met her through my driver at the time, Ishmael, who I had met, and he lived in this community. And through him, I met her and subsequently many, many other 15-year-old girls, 14, 13-year-old girls that had babies right after the earthquakes, living in tents. And that also led me to the work that I did for many years here with adolescent girls.
Wow, this is really amazing how kind of like first, if I understood it right, like it was your personal path of like overcoming your grief that brought you to Haiti and like seeing all the grief that's happening there and then offering your services to help the people, and that helped you. This is really amazing. But
I
still,
think so. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, but still, as I was thinking, I mean, this is still Haiti, right? Not very easy country to allow a white single woman to maybe live there. So how did you manage like this how should I shift of like, you know, you said you were there for 6 weeks and then you came and you saw these girls and wanted to help, and then but really deciding I'm staying here. It's not like I'm going forth and back and trying to see what I can do, but you really decided to live in Haiti. How did you overcome maybe some fears or roadblocks that you might have had back then and really say, no, I'm staying, I'm living now here and working here?
That's a very interesting question. And because I don't recall having fear in that sense. It's interesting because I feel that in many ways, I never made a formal decision to say, okay, I'm going to live here. I think that might have been more difficult, but I think I gradually moved into it. I think that first year I spent a lot of time going back and forth and realizing that every time I was here, I felt better. It's something here resonated for me. Perhaps it was being of service, which was something I wanted to do for, I think, many, many years. I think when I was much younger, I was interested in doing the Peace Corps, and I've always like been interested in volunteering. I was younger, I did that Big Brother, Big Sister program, you know, where you mentor somebody younger than yourself. So the idea of being of service and helping younger people and helping people in general, that there was something here that clicked for me. And I was able to do that. I mean, you can be of service and you can help people anywhere you live, but somehow here, I don't know, the need is so much greater and it's all around you. And you're presented with opportunities every day where you can help someone, and you can really just really help someone. And there's so many people that need help. And so whether you just give them a little money and then they can eat that day, like, I don't know, it's just something resonated for me in that respect. Take a photograph of somebody and send it to them on their WhatsApp, and then, I don't know, see that they use it on their WhatsApp profile and they love that picture. I don't know. There was something perhaps in my life in the States, maybe, that was missing, that got fulfilled here in some way.
And I liked how you just said, like, you were simply feeling better in Haiti. Every time that you like left and came back, you just feel like, wow, I'm better here. So that's also a beautiful like path, you know, just like following your inner calling and following what your body or what your well-being is telling you. And that maybe nobody would understand in an environment like Haiti that is so much known for its difficult and miserable place. But as you know, I'm Haitian too, half Haitian, and I had also this wish of wanting to give back when I decided to live in Haiti, because we've been brought up in such privileged ways abroad, and it was about wanting to give back. And when I came to Haiti, very fast, I realized, yes, I'm giving back something here, but I am getting so much. I am actually getting
Exactly.
so much back out of learning from these people, learning from the situation, the conditions, and this whole complexity that Haiti is, right?
Absolutely. And I think there's been little things that have happened along the way that have reinforced my belief. And I feel like I've forgotten so many of them, but I recall one in the early days. I was working with the actor Rainn Wilson and his wife Holiday. They're very dear friends of mine, and they came to Haiti after the earthquake, and we did work with adolescent girls together. And they subsequently came back. They started their own organization called LIDE with this, which adolescent girls in Gonaive, and I'm actually going there in December. But I vividly recall once when Rainn went back to the States, and it was either in a call or a text or an email, and he said to me, or he wrote to me, and he said, I was in line in Starbucks back in LA, Nadia, in Los Angeles. And he said, and I kind of got it all of a sudden. I kind of got why you live there. Like something like, I don't know, the hustle and bustle of his life in America and the Starbucks line in the morning and whatever that is about. And just for him to say that, and he kind of was like, and there was another gentleman, Ben Krause, who was living here at the time with JPHRO, and we were all working together. And he sort of said, I understand why you and Ben are living there. Like, and so it's hard to put into words, but the fact that he had that realization in the Starbucks line for me was like, it's something about the way of life. And
Exactly.
I still, to this day, I can go, and I am very privileged here living in Haiti. I leave when I want to leave, obviously, and I can go to the States and I go to New York and I'm in the Starbucks line. And I always think about that.
It's beautiful. And I like this example that you gave it. So let me just for the audience explain, like, while yes, you can get coffees in Haiti everywhere, and it's actually an excellent coffee that you get,
Yes.
there is no chain, no food chain that we know in the Western world that exists in Haiti. Besides, I think there's one Domino pizza in Haiti, but there's no Starbucks, there's no, I don't know, like Kentucky Fried Chicken, all of this does not exist. So we live in Haiti a very authentic life with local products and local companies and local shops and stores who sell their products. Of course, there is importation, but it's exactly what you just mentioned. Like we have this little bit innocent way of life, even I would say, I would call it in Haiti, because it's all made there. It's not like these big McDonald's or whatever that everybody knows everywhere in the world, or like even if you go into clothing stores, like there's no Zara or H&M and all these things. It's like everything that you see in Haiti is really Haitian made and or like imported by Haitians, but it has a branding that is Haitian. So I think this is for many people like us who have been brought up abroad and then come to Haiti and live there, is something that we discovered to live authentic local life, if I may say so.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of, I mean, you know it, being Haitian, there's so much love and warmth on an island that just, in spite of all the violence and the insecurity and the everything, there's just so much love and warmth. And I think that people don't understand. And so it's even, you know, like at the Starbucks, not to go back there again, but there's a couple of women at the Starbucks I go to that are from the Dominican Republic. So they're from the island, and the way they welcome me every morning, it's with this island warmth that for me is always, you know, it can be as simple as like the way people address one another, you know, how we say in Haiti, chérie, like we say dear a lot, you know, that I use that term a lot. And I recall in the early days when I would say to people in the supermarkets in New York, like, thank you, my dear. I remember my mother would say to me, oh, I don't think that's quite appropriate that you say my dear, but you have to, because we don't use that term in America. We don't use it. And if you hear somebody using it, you know they're from an island. And for sure, those women that say that to me in Starbucks, they're from the other side of this island. They're from the Dominican Republic. But
Yeah.
Americans in general don't use, and for me, it's about all this love and warmth on this island. That's a big part of what's kept me here.
Yeah. So like your work already before coming to Haiti had a lot to do with yeah, through your means of like taking photos as a photographer, showcasing situations and people. So like in that sense, serving also the cause of making it known or making it spread wider, right? So how did you perceive this passion of yours being perceived in Haiti when you came and offered your services?
You mean, how did I see my photographic work?
No, was it easy for you to get contracts, or like was it first just like you as a kind of you offer your photography and then maybe not getting a contract out of it? But like how did you really
I think
make this a
in
business?
general, I think whether it's stateside or here, I think it's never easy to get work as a photographer. And over the years, increasingly more difficult just because of the digital world that we live in. And the world is just flooded with images. And it's very easy for a lot of organizations to not hire a photographer, but simply to go with somebody who has a decent cell phone. But that said, I've managed for 14 years to continue to get work here. Um, not always easy, like I said, always challenging, but through connection, which is really my recipe and I'm a big believer, and that's sort of my advice to people in terms of, well, in terms of everything in life, is for me is very much about communication and connection, which I happen to love and I need it for my work as well. So I will never say no to an invitation in Haiti. And I had a friend here, she's in the DR now, a woman from Venezuela and Spain, who once told me that. And she said, you never say no to an invitation in Haiti, Nadia, because you never know what to expect. And you're always going to get somebody new, somebody fascinating. And she's absolutely right. And so that has been my journey here for many years. I never say no. And I'm very much about connection and follow up and communication. And it's through that route that I've gone from assignment to assignment. I obviously don't work every day, so I work on an assignment basis. So I'll work on a 1-week assignment or a 3-day or a 1-day. And I never really know what I'm doing month to month. I don't book so much in advance, but somehow over the years and the months, it has
Yeah.
to work
So
out.
like it seems like it's all about communication. I'd say even it's all about relationships, and you
Absolutely.
are a natural like networker or relationship builder. You said it, it's like something that comes very natural to you. And in a country like Haiti, this is the only way to make things work. Nobody is doing something, I guess, out of obligation. They just do it because you have a relationship with them, right?
Yeah, it's about relationships for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So you said it like that you worked a lot with these 15-year-old girls back then. And I guess since then your different assignments have taken you all around the country. So working also in different and other environments and conditions. But I like that this was so marking for you when you saw these girls. And I would like to know if you would see yourself now as the 15-year-old you, what advice for life, for professional choices would you give yourself, your 15-year-old self?
Well, I would, I was a big warrior when I was young. And that really like it made things so much more difficult, I believe. And I think I would advise myself not to worry so much, for one, and maybe not to have fear. Although when I was that age, when I was young, at that point, I didn't have fear at 15. I feel like I became a little bit more paralyzed with fear a little bit later on. But when I was younger, no, because when I was 15, I was ready to like, I don't know. I was just ready to go see the world, and something didn't resonate for me in my everyday life in high school in America. And I applied to do an exchange program. And so I spent a year living in Belgium when I was 16, because I think when I applied at 15, I was too young. So subsequently, I went the next year and actually didn't want to come back to live in the States, which I feel like is part of it all. It all makes sense at this stage. Like, it makes sense in many ways that I'm very comfortable living here in Haiti, because some reason, even though I grew up in the US, my family's South African, so that might have to do with it. My parents immigrated to America. They weren't, they were born and raised in South Africa, and I grew up spending a lot of time there with family. So maybe that had something to do with not feeling 100% connected to America and like a way of life in America. And so there's a lot of echoes here in Haiti for me of South Africa. There's a lot of things that feel quite similar. And so I didn't realize in the early days, but I've come to realize that it's a sense of the familiar here in that way.
I get that. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share with us, because after all, Haiti is also not, how should I say, a very stable place. We know specifically now it's also not easy times, and you still stay there. I guess you face also stressful situations in your everyday life and maybe in general. How do you face these challenging times? Do you have any, I don't know, self-care advice or rituals that you want to share with us?
Well, I'm happy to share. I wish I had something that sounded akin to like some sort of meditative practice, but I don't. I don't. My mother is a meditation teacher, and she always encourages me to meditate. And I'm sure that that would help. However, I don't. I would have to say that my home is a big part of de-stressing for me. The home that I created here, the garden in particular where I am now, it's sort of an oasis in the chaos of things. I like to think of it. The compound that I live in is sort of a bamboo-filled compound. So I've always referred to it as this bamboo-filled oasis. And then creating a home where I didn't realize in the early days, where I didn't have a home in Haiti and I was just jumping from place to place. Having created this home here since 2015, I've lived in this compound, and this is sort of my place of de-stressing, finding the quiet that exists here that is away from the chaos and the grit of the street, and then finding the moments here that my morning ritual with my coffee in the garden is like, I can't really start the day without that. So that is a sort of a ritual I do every morning. And then in the evenings, being able to like come here and be quiet, light some candles, have a glass of wine. Those are my ways that I sort of de-stress a little bit. And then I will add that for many years, I didn't have a formal exercise practice here, which I think was a big mistake. I mean, it's hard to do that when you're sort of jumping all over the place. And I think it's difficult to do in Haiti in general, but in the last 2 years, I found a place to walk my dogs and play tennis. And that for me is a huge de-stressor. That physical exercise every single day, for me, it helps me to, I mean, physically the blood flowing, but it also helps me to get through whatever challenges lie ahead. I know
Beautiful.
that for sure, because on the rare days where I don't do that, I feel very different. So that is my current way of
Yeah,
de-stress.
right, you feel it right away when you don't do the things that do good to you. And then, yeah, I know this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's true, like not always if someone has a job like yours that takes you sometimes completely away from home for weeks and then you come back. So it's like how to have something regular as a self-care and well-being practice is probably not so easy. And you said it yourself that maybe you should meditate, but you just cannot befriend yourself with it. And that's
That
fine
is
too.
true. That's true. When I go away so often, I interrupt my routine. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess in general, it's all about like finding whatever does you good and try to do that even if you are on the run, on the go, on your assignments,
Mhm.
and not forcing oneself into what is known to be good to everybody if you just not connect to it. Like I'm just like talking about meditation.
Right.
And I mean, like I'm a big meditation fan. I basically meditate every morning and sometimes even in the evenings. But I have also experienced that like trying to teach my students and my clients, they just like not everybody responds to that. And I think this is so important to understand that you just like find whatever does you good. And if it's not meditating, if it's not yoga, that's fine as well, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I know that you are a big fan of nature as well. So
Mhm.
not just walking your dogs in nature or doing sports out there, but like you adore plants and you take pictures of that as well, flowers.
Flowers. Flowers. Crazy
Yeah,
about flowers.
yeah.
So
And
there's so many beautiful flowers here. Although I think I've been crazy about flowers my whole life, because before becoming a photographer, I was going to have a floral store.
wow, really? I didn't know that.
That's going way back, but I just love flowers. And so for me, I've always photographed flowers in Haiti because it breaks it's a break in the other images that I make. It's a break in the harsh images that I make. So for me, I need to balance out the images that I make. So if I'm making very harsh images professionally, I feel like I need to counter that with something. And so
Mm,
I found over the years that photographing flowers and photographing, something so beautiful is really, it's calming. I love it. It's like it just reinforces, the beauty all around me. Yeah.
totally. And by the way, there is a very meditative moment in that, like if you observe nature or plants or flowers,
Mhm.
uh, that is really something very, I mean, just like Zen giving, right? If you just look at a flower, it's so beautiful. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Nadia, I want to know which project that you are currently working on and are passionate about. Would you like to share with us? Because I will also obviously provide our audience afterwards with links to your work so people can see the amazing pictures you're taking. Because you just said like it's sometimes harsh, the pictures that you're taking, but honestly, I'm always touched because there's always this amazing beauty in it as well. And the way you portray people gives them so much pride. I see a lot of pride in the faces and the people that you're taking photos of.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, I
That's
want to know like what is the
beautiful.
project that you are working on now, if you can talk about it and want to share with
Well,
us.
I'm trying, and it started a few months ago because I'm doing a presentation next month in Canada at York University of some of my work. And so I'm trying to pull from a library of 14 years of making images in this country, and that's a lot of work. And I'm trying to pull stories in different, it's not so much a book because thinking of a book. I'm just thinking of different chapters and stories. So for the York University presentation, I have about 5, but ultimately it would be something more like 12 or 20 stories that I want to pull from Haiti over the past 14 years that I've been. So every time I'm on an assignment, for example, if I'm sent, let's say to the South, to St. Boniface Hospital, where I go every year, twice a year. I've been doing that for 6 or 7 years. And I spend 4 days there and I'm photographing. I have my entire shot list. So I'm in every department, surgical, maternity, NICU, PICU, like rehab. There's always going to be there's always going to be 1 or 2 individuals in particular and their story that I'm just captured by personally. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is pull these various different stories together, go back and pull the images from that project or that assignment, and then write about each of these stories. Because so much, in many respects, I wish I had been doing this over the years, because my memory bank is not that good, but I want to do it now before it's too late, like to sort of go back and write about these individuals and these stories. And yeah.
That's cool. So you do this, you just mentioned you do this for teaching purposes? You're teaching young photographers, or is it, no, to show
No,
work?
this is just a presentation I'm doing for a friend at the university she works at in Canada. Just sharing with her global health students about my work in Haiti.
Beautiful. This is
Yeah.
super interesting. Yeah, we'll absolutely show or share the links to your work here.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it is really amazing what you bring to Haiti, what you bring to the world, and again, what Haiti brought to you, finding your
Such a
inner peace,
gift. And
right?
the people here, I mean, there's just so many stories of how I've just been like so moved by people here, by gestures, by just their ways of being. I mean, they talk about resiliency, and I never really liked that word in the early days, but the way that Haitians live with such challenges and such difficulty, and their it's not even their will to carry on, it's their way of being that they choose to be in the world. It's just,
So true.
it's
So
so
true.
inspiring, and it makes it difficult when I go back to the States and I try. It makes it difficult for people who don't understand that, you know. It's a hard thing to share with somebody. It's hard to convey that in
Does it
words.
make it difficult for you when you go back to the States every time?
It makes it difficult for me sometimes to to not to be with people, but to get people to understand. I don't know. I don't know if that's, I mean, maybe people don't need to understand or want to understand. I don't know. But it makes you see things differently. You're looking through a different lens.
Definitely, definitely. I
Through
think
a
there's
different,
also another aspect, exactly. Like, first of all, it changes you, you perceive and you live and you see things differently once you have spent time living and working in a country like
yeah.
Haiti. I guess it's maybe the same experiences in other countries for other people as well. But what is also amazing is, and this is probably what you and I brought us together, is like, it is such an extreme experience to live and work in a country like Haiti that it automatically brings you together with other foreigners or expats who live there in a completely different way, right? We connect on such a deeper level than I would have because I lived in so many countries all over Europe, and I have studied there and I have met friends there. But the people outside of my Haitian family that I met in Haiti, it was always so intensive and so deep in a very short time. And that's really something.
Exactly. And I never want to say something to that effect, because I feel that there's people living all over the world in various different countries, and every country has its own vibe and everything going on. But there is something for me here, and for the people that I've connected with here, some of whom are still here, many of whom who have left, whether it's to the other side of the island or back to Canada or Kyrgyzstan or Senegal, wherever people are. And I feel like we're connected by a thread somehow. And yeah, I feel like we're connected by this thread that of the way that, I don't know, of the things that we've experienced here in Haiti that connect us. And regardless of where we go in the world afterwards, where everybody has ventured to, we stay very connected in a way that I don't know how to articulate it. I don't know what it is, because there's obviously other countries, you know, similar to Haiti or other countries where people live in challenging situations, for sure, many countries, but there is something here that it's hard to put into words.
I always call it the Haitian vibe or the Haitian energy. And as you know, I have also moved to the other side of the island. So I'm based now in the Dominican Republic, and I still feel some of that energy. It's really this island's energy. And then also another thing that you were looking for the word and describing like what it must, what it has done to people that you have encountered in Haiti. And even though they have gone now to other countries, other continents, and you still feel this deep connection, I call that actually family. I think I really have created kind of a new way of family with the people that I had made my family while living in Haiti.
That's what I do. I call it my family here, and I feel so blessed to have found this country, to have found Haiti. But for sure, the people in my life here are my family. I come from a very small family in the States, and I really believe there's a reason that I came here, and it's very much about this family. And when people often ask me like why I still stay here, in spite of all the challenges and the violence and the insecurity, it's family. It's this family. And I know, because I tried to leave and I came back, and I know that's what was missing. And 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 I think that people here, you know, a lot of people, some people are from here, other people are from other places, and they've left behind their so-called family elsewhere. And so there's a coming together that's just much tighter here, and the experiences that we live through, and the stress that we live under, and the caring for one another. There's such immense caring for one another. I mean, part of it is like stems from maybe a logistical perspective. You want to make sure someone got home safely at the end of the night, but that seed that is planted for me is like such a depth of caring. Like, yes, you want to make sure that person is home at the end of the night safely, but and so because there's so much of that for me is like, it's just really caring about somebody. And when somebody is sick, you know, in a country where things can get a little precarious if you're sick, there's such care. If somebody is ever sick here in our family, in my world, like people are really, you know, like I feel like there's just such caring and making sure that you're okay in the world, and that you're just okay.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is right. I remember those times when I was still living in Haiti. Definitely.
Yeah. People want to send you, and in a country where, you know, it's quite easy to have a lot of people like moving about, like people want to send you juice and lemons and
I was just
honey and
oh,
soup.
the soup jumeau. I was
Yeah.
just thinking about that. And you know what is really funny? I remember when my German grandmother was telling me about her youth. That's how it used to be in the Western world as well. It's just like
Wow.
our development in the Western world has made us become so disconnected from each other because we all live our individual lives, and caring is not so much part of it, not in that way anymore, like not this deep,
Exactly.
yeah.
And that, when you say our individual lives, and for me, that's what is so beautiful in Haiti for me, is community, the sense of living in community. And I live in a compound with houses here, so there's other people around me. And it's not just that, but the sense of living in community is like checking in on people and
Yes.
making sure they're okay. And, you know, I feel like, yeah, in the States, people are living in a very sort of their individual families, and they care for their children and their animals in their family and their close-knit family. But here, I feel like we're all family, and we're all checking on each other and taking care of one another. And, you know,
It's beautiful.
that's a
Absolutely.
beautiful thing for me.
True.
So there's so much beauty in Haiti. I mean, it was interesting because you had shared with me some of the things that you might talk about today. And so I was trying to sort of visualize some of the things to talk about. And then you said, I just wanted to make sure to include this because you were writing and you asked me if I should think about what my superpowers are. So
Yes.
immediately I said, superpowers. Like I don't have any superpowers. Like I couldn't think of a superpower at all. So I threw it over to my friends and I started asking my friends. And my very dear friend Jessica she said, I think that your superpower is to see beauty.
Mm,
And it really hit me in this country where so many people like know about this country and know of all, the ugly things about this country. And there's so many ugly things which is true. But I think in order to live here, I've chosen that path to see beauty. And it feels like whether it's in like people and family and community or flowers or nature, it's really like, and you said something in the beginning when you presented this podcast, you said something about hope or beauty, a path of,
yes, the highlighting of hope.
yeah,
And yes, absolutely.
for sure, because I think that's been my path forward, even in the stories I tell in the hospitals. Like there's so much from, there's so much despair and death, and of course I could focus on that, but I choose to try to focus on the hopeful stories and the inspiring ones, and there's just
Yeah,
so many really beautiful ones.
beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Nadia. It was so beautiful to have you here today and to talk with you. There's just one last thing I want to say because we've been, or ask, that is like for me the natural following question to
Okay.
our little interview here. Is there a poem or a quote that you'd like to share with us that describes exactly like how you live your life, or that is your motivation, your credo?
Oh, wow. Well, I thought about that one as well. So my all-time favorite poem, I won't read to you now because it's quite long. And I'll read you one that I feel like is more appropriate, and then we to finish here. But my favorite poem was or is this poem about kindness. I don't know if you know this poem, but Naomi Shihab wrote a poem about kindness that I love. Um, Should I read the last part to you?
Yes, please. We want to
Okay.
hear.
Or should I read the whole thing? I don't know how much time I have.
Go ahead.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Before you know what kindness is, you must lose things, feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go so that you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating mai and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. And you must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know what kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore, and only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread, only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, it is I you have been looking for, and then goes with you everywhere like a shadow or a friend.
So beautiful. You know, I knew parts of it. I never knew that it was such a long poem.
Right. There's a part
But it's
that's always highlighted.
exactly, and I knew that one. Very
And
beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful for me, and it's like it resonates in Haiti because it's really like people have been so kind to me here. Just, and it's that kindness that is just for me, it's just like, I don't know, it rocks my world. Like I can go to a hospital and the doctors, they just don't have to stop what they're doing. You know, they're just so kind to me. They're in the middle of emergency situations and here comes this blonde photographer, but they're so kind to me, no matter what. The patients, the women, I'm photographing some woman who's just given birth like moments ago, and there's such kindness. There's the mechanics on the street, that everybody, the street vendors, there's such kindness. And I really feel like in the world, like it makes such a difference. Like just being able to like smile at people and be kind to people and have people be kind back to you. I feel like
Absolutely.
so important.
True. It's actually we have the choice to be kind no matter what. And this is what this poem so beautifully summarizes, that you can live in misery and war, you can have lots of loss and be desperate, but you can choose to still be kind. And that is so touching to live, specifically in Haiti, right? I
It
mean,
is. And the way people smile, I mean, there's people that smile at me as I pass some people I know that, and they like they have every reason not to smile, you know, their challenges and their suffering and where they sleep at night, and they have no fan and they're on a thin pad on the floor and there's mosquitoes and they don't have money to eat and they smile. They smile like life is good. And they wake up every day and they could be miserable, but they smile and they're just kind and they're helpful. And
that's true. Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's really beautiful to me. And then, yeah.
Wow. Anyways, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was so inspiring again to talk with you and to
Thank you.
share these amazing stories.
You
Yours.
made it so easy. I'm not a big speaker. I feel like I hide behind my lens or my computer if I write. So this was very new for me to speak, but you made it very easy for me.
Oh, thank you so much. Maybe